welcome to Topics with Khalil Speaks LKE. I appreciate you all for tuning in today. I'm so excited. This is the very first episode of a series of just topics that we're going to be discussing. We're going to be talking about a lot of varied different things on a lot of different just angles. We're gonna have some guests that's gonna chime in. We're gonna have a lot of different perspectives. I'm gonna read to you some polls that I looked into. It's just gonna be a fun experience. I'm so fired up that we're starting this journey together, man. So let me give you a little bit of insight as to who I am. Again, I'm Khalil Speaks LKE. Now, my name is LeBaron K. Edwards. So a lot of people would assume that the LKE is my initials, where actually, in fact, it stands for Live No Experience. So that's where the LKE comes from. Because the whole purpose of this podcast is for you to learn ways to live better, to know how to do things that you probably never have known before, and to get on a path to experiencing new and exciting things. So I've actually been doing what I do for quite some time in terms of just motivational speaking, talking to people, encouraging people. I've actually used to be in the financial industry for about 19 years, transitioned from that, but even during that process, what I did was I did a lot of mentoring and coaching and motivational speeches, and I helped people learn different things. So I did a lot of teaching in that respect as well. I mean, you give me a whiteboard and a marker, I could do some amazing things, you know. So I decided I wanted to do this a little differently. You know, it's 2020. We got this COVID going on. I definitely want to make sure I still keep doing some things where I can encourage people to be better and do positive things. It's just we're gonna do this in more of a virtual format until the world opens back up, and then we can actually start doing more things in person. So we're talking about living, knowing, and experiencing new things. So I'm going to talk to you more about how we can utilize this time of now to really create a pathway to success. Now, a lot of people are struggling. There's millions of people who have filed for unemployment. Unfortunately, there's a lot of businesses that have shut down because they just nobody was prepared for a global pandemic to hit us as hard as it has hit us. And unfortunately, the response from those who are in power has not been the greatest to help us in society to really overcome these crazy times that we're living in. So there's a lot of people who are suffering and struggling. Just a real quick side note, for those of you who were or are essential employees, for those of us who have been quarantining in our homes, we thought that things were going to open up, and then the second wave hit harder than the first. We appreciate the heck out of you for going and doing the things that you do. For the Uber drivers, for the DoorDash and the Postmates and all the delivery people, for the folks that are at the stores, the folks that are at the Walmarts, the folks that are at the fast food restaurants, the doctors, the nurses, the physician's assistants, the CNAs, the cleaning staff, the folks that still got to get up every day and go fight the good fight. I just want to say on behalf of myself and anybody who may listen to this, we thank the heck out of you, and we appreciate the heck out of you for the work that you're doing. So I want to talk about how we can utilize these times to actually create a pathway to success and a new pathway to freedom. So one of the things that I want to talk to you about is the time that you have. There's a lot of people who now have a lot more time on their hands. Now that's a gift and a curse, but I choose to see it as a gift. Now, as a married man with children, grown children, by the way, there was times where it was like we were all passing ships. You know, my wife and I, we had our business. My daughters, they have their respective businesses. My sons have their respective businesses, and it was like, man, we was just shifting here and there. Quarantine told us, hey, reel it back, slow it down. Now spend some more time reacclimating yourself to your family, relearning who your family is or who they are. We have had so many more in-depth conversations. We didn't really have time for that in the past. We get together in the living room and we enjoy one another's time. And that's precious. A lot of people are complaining about the extra time that they're having with their children. I thank God for it. I really do. It's been a blessing to me, a blessing to my life. And I really get the opportunity to really know who my adult children are. So, and really get a chance to separate them from that child persona that they had. So now we are all equals as adults. And I see my children as adults, not children any longer. So that's a blessing. But with this time, now you have to utilize your creativity. If you were used to working a 9 to 5 at one point, now is your opportunity to start looking at ways that you can break away from that 9 to 5 ideology and start looking for ways that you can make money independent of that system. Because to be totally brutally honest, a lot of those businesses that were forced to close because they were not prepared for something like this, unfortunately, they're not going to be able to open back up. So those jobs are going to be lost completely. So you have to really look at, is your job, the place that you worked, is it really strong enough to sustain after we come out of this COVID and keep providing you with an income? If you have any sort of inclination of doubt about that, then I would highly recommend that you take some time, use this time, think critically, think creatively, and see how you can utilize your skills, your talents, your gifts to make money in a different way. That's just a little helpful hint to utilize the time wisely. Think about a business venture that you maybe had to suppress because you had to pay bills. Now it's time for you to use that talent and use that ability to your advantage. Whether it's cooking, whether it's, you have a great voice, you can do voiceovers. You can hook up meals for the community and sell them $5 to $10 a plate. You can, if you're a great baker, it's time to break out them baking skills and sell slices and sell pies and sell cakes. This is the time. If you are a computer technical person and you know how to fix computers, well, it might be time to set up a computer repair or a software repair. It might be time for you to do some things where you can utilize those gifts and those talents. Or maybe, if you're not necessarily a mechanic, but you know how to work on cars, there's a lot of mechanic shops that unfortunately they weren't able to open. So this is an opportunity for you to use your skill and make some money helping people keep their rides on the road. So, just give you some little tidbits, little thoughts about how you can utilize these times to really make some things happen, people. Because this is a different age that we live in. This 2020 is turning out to be the most craziest time I've ever experienced in my 42 years of living, baby. I don't understand what's happening. It's like, man, on January 1st, when we celebrated, we was all saying Happy New Year. Nobody would have ever thought that 2020 would end up like this. And we only halfway there. We're not even really fully through. We don't know what the rest of it is gonna transpire or come up with. There's been some instances that have occurred globally where it's like, what in the world just happened? What in the world? What in the world? Then you look at the sports. Major League Baseball. There have been so many COVID cases in Major League Baseball. basketball, NBA, they created a bubble prior to the season and made sure everybody quarantined. I was just reading an article about the NFL and how the revenues of the NFL have drastically dropped because of COVID. So just everything is being adjusted or modified or just totally stopped. School is back in. Craziness. A lot of schools, they opted to let the kids back in. And here in my state, there's a whole county where they said, hey, the very first day of school, people got infected. And the second day, they had to quarantine whole classes of people. It's so crazy what's going on. It's so insane what's going on. So with that being said, you have to really utilize your skill and your ability to create something that's going to be something that can keep you safe, number one, but make you money. So this is a great time to do that, a phenomenal time to do that. So another thing that you need to consider is